We recently met a friend who had lost his wife in an accident. It was a ghastly tragedy that left everyone, including us, in a state of shock. For a long time, the gentleman did not want to meet anybody. He would not respond to emails or text messages. And every time we made an effort to connect, he would say he was not ready for it yet. Finally, after about 18 months, he met us last week. And over the conversation, my wife Vani and I were very clear that we did not want to bring up the name of his wife or any memory related to her because we were not sure how he was going to respond. But towards the middle of the conversation, he leaned forward and said that he had moved on. He said that the cause of all his suffering was not his dead wife, but his own refusal to move on. I found his story depict a very real situation that all of us struggle with. Some life events do numb us. They make us insensitive to the life that is happening to us around us. Our grief forces us to stay rooted to the past when tragedy strikes us. And over time, this grief, interestingly, becomes very comforting. It may sound ironical, but it is true. And to snap out of this comfort zone requires an effort which we are unwilling to make. So we wallow in this grief, liking and loving our own suffering. This is a deep-rooted subconscious response to life's tragedies. The death of a loved one, a failed relationship, a business loss, a layoff, a career confusion, a physically challenging health situation, whatever it may be. And until then, life would have been going fine, it would have been perfect. But when the blow strikes us, we are first struck by grief, then we suffer because we cling on to that grief. The way to move on is to simply move on. When something gets taken away from you after your shock and stupor subsides, remember that what is playing out is an unalterable law of life. That law deals with the impermanence of everything and of life itself. You see, life is impermanent, right? Everything, whether it's a material object or it is your life itself, is impermanent. Whatever you have today and which you call your own, which is your family, your children, your money, your property, your job, your reputation, your life, has to and will be taken away from you. So the most commonsensical response to life is to move on. Moving on does not mean you're insensitive. Moving on means that you're intelligent. It's basic common sense. It means that you know that clinging on to the past, to a loss, to a grief, only makes you miserable. This is where suffering comes from. Whereas moving on liberates you. It helps you experience inner peace and joy. Your memories may well come visiting. They will, right? Memories will come visiting every once in a while, but they will not haunt you anymore. You suffer in life, in any situation, only if you wish that things were different from what they are. But with moving on, you have accepted that your life is what it is. That acceptance through moving on makes life beautiful and worth living, despite all that you believe you have lost.